Russia has announced that its forces have taken control of multiple settlements in eastern Ukraine, claiming to have captured 9 locations in Donetsk and Dnipro-Petrovsk between the August the 16th and the 22nd. The Russian Ministry of Defense also reported 6 cluster strikes using precision weapons and drones targeting Ukrainian defense factories, energy facilities, oil refineries and ammunition depots. Ukraine, however, says it successfully repelled several offensives, engaging in 107 combats along the front line on August the 22nd, including 30 attacks in the Petrovsk direction, with 3 battles still ongoing. On Ukraine's Flag Day, President Volodymyr Zelensky reaffirmed the country's commitment to territorial integrity, highlighting the flag as a symbol of hope and resilience for Ukrainians in occupied territories. He praised the courage of soldiers defending all of Ukraine, honoured the fallen with a moment of silence, and concluded with a message of unity and strength. Russian troops have taken the Klabenbizk and Sardin areas near where they broke through the Ukrainian defences last week, as well as the Novo-Georgivka in Dnipro-Petrovsk. These areas, previously spared from fighting until July, show Russia's continued push and claims of territorial gains despite ongoing peace efforts. We're now joined by Keith Vaz. He's a former UK minister and he joins us live from Atlanta. Thank you very much, Keith, as always, for joining us here on the programme. Keith, Russia's narrative is that these occupied zones are part of their territory and that certain residents here, most residents here, in fact, all residents, according to Russia, want to be part of Russia. These are particularly parts of the Russian-speaking areas. What is your response to that?
I'm back in London, by the way, Thomas.
Apologies.
So, good on. It's all right. You didn't know that. You don't know my travel plans. Welcome to London. Look, Russia has always, this is the basis upon which Russia started its move against Ukraine, that actually what you're dealing with here from the time of the invasion of Crimea is Russian-speaking people who want to be part of Russia. The assertion by President Putin that this has always been part of Russia, that it should be part of Russia, and that local people want it to be part of Russia. So he's just reiterating the point that he probably made to President Trump when they met a week ago in Alaska, that this actually has always belonged to them. So therefore, why are people making a fuss about this? This is theirs, these are their people, and they are just reclaiming what belongs to Russia. So that's a position he's always had. Reasserting it now, unfortunately, shows what seems to be the failure of the Alaska summit. I think all of us in the world prayed and hoped that that would be a success, that it would be followed very rapidly by a summit between President Trump, President Zelensky, and President Putin, or at the very least, President Putin and President Zelensky. But it didn't. And I think that's a big disappointment for everybody. That's what we all expected, more than just a photo call in Alaska, some real practical steps. The two countries, Ukraine and Russia, have continued to bomb each other. And therefore that hasn't stopped, and it's going to continue. So I think it's a big disappointment for everybody that we reached a stage where we were before Alaska happened. And I'm not sure whether President Trump has got anything left in his top drawer, or whether these two countries are prepared to meet, because they are obviously determined to ensure that there is a continuation of this. Which is very, very disappointing.
Keith, we are seeing small encroachments of Russian troops further into Ukrainian territory. We also have seen statements coming from the likes of Sergei Lavrov saying there is no framework for this bilateral meeting that Donald Trump has pushed. with, of course, this grand Alaska meeting that happened, along with Zelensky meeting in Washington, these muddy statements coming out of the Kremlin and from Russian officials. Do you think Vladimir Putin is just buying time here?
Thomas, you're right. I think he probably is. I don't think he had any intention of reaching an agreement with Donald Trump because he worked out at the end he had more to gain by the meeting in Alaska than anyone else. He was accepted, received, clapped onto the red carpet by the American president, and as a result of which he was welcomed back into the international fold. So it probably is an opportunity to buy some more time. And that throws the gauntlet back at the European nations, France, Germany, and the United Kingdom and Italy in particular. Are they prepared to do anything in order to take this process forward? What Donald Trump will do is, if there's no progress, he'll just wash his hands off the whole thing and find some other cause to pursue. But the people of Ukraine and Russia are left now with the vacuum. What is going to happen? How are we going to get to the peace that we desperately want? And everyone's taking a hardened position. President Zelensky is saying, I will not concede a millimeter of my territory. And President Putin saying, I will take what is mine. These are all Russian-speaking people. They want to be part of Russia. So that's exactly where we were when this whole conflict began.
Keith, thank you. You are staying with us to discuss